one. G'day, guys, all the way from Australia. You've seen me a bit on the internet doing my Robin Hood effect, but here I am with the original life theories, the four horsemen. Oh, I shouldn't say the four horsemen. Shouldn't say that, but we'll talk about that later. This is Jay, all the way from Australia. Kangaroos, koalas, Steve Irwin impersonations, and we have life theories with myself and my beautiful friend over in America. The foundation of this, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be doing it. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to claim it right now. We're all busy, but the way this lady puts us all together and helps us all out to get this happening is amazing. Diana, and not co-host. We're dual hosts, but I say to yourself, you know how it works. How you going?
Oh, pretty good. There's a lot going on in the world right now. There's a lot of astrology going on. There's a lot just in general. We have holidays. There's a lot going on in general. And I think it's really good for us to get together and talk, even though it's all busy and hustle and bustle and people are getting in like the crazy holiday season or into other chaotic world events. I think it's good that we come back to ourselves and unite with others that are on a similar path.
It's been big. I look. I won't lie. I've struggled. Look, I reckon 2025 can go and get you know what. Really, to be perfectly honest, in a lot of ways.
It went by
Um,
fast. I can't believe it's already over. I mean,
it went fast. It went fast, but mate, the only way you can describe it is like heaps of. It's absolute trial and error. And I think the thing is, and I use my hero Bray Wyatt with what he did with regards to the moth. The moth symbols the rebirth, phoenix rebirth, bat in Native American astrology cards. The bat comes up. It's all about rebirth. So the only way you can rebirth is absolutely unalive the old. And I think what we're doing is actually facing our demons and facing our deepest inner traumas or inner blocks, whatever it may be, using the cement. And I tell you what, it's like hitting it. It's like having a hammer and hitting that cement so hard that you're so sore. And I think the most frustrating part about it is you can see things in the future. You can see what's going to happen. You can feel it. The universe, if you're connected, will give you those information through angel numbers, through signs, symbols, synchronicities, all those kind of things. They're going to you, here you go, you can have this. You got to get to a point before we can actually move you on. And you're at that point where, mate, I'm happy. Just push me through the door. So, and, you know, I've had some crazy, crazy times. It's gone back into a bit of being a bit of bloody recluse actually. But it's one of those things where you learn patience. And I think Carl Jung says, okay, I've got to get my marbles out there today.
it's Mercury retrograde. What do you expect? Yeah, what do you expect from retrograde?
Thank you. It's retrograde. But one thing before I let you speak, because I speak too much as far as I'm concerned, is I was watching a lot of Carl Jung the last 6 weeks, and one of the things that he said, which I've spoken to me on my show, is throughout the absolute chaos and bedlam of what's happening in your mind and in your physical world, it is actually the biggest amount of clarity you're going to have in your life. And I sit there and I go, because he talks about, the personality, he talks about the shadow and all that. To face that ultimate shadow, to get out of where you are and actually do what you need to do for you and be there for yourself instead of being there for others. Like everyone goes, be there for others, that's fine, but you're neglecting yourself. And I think you have to, what Carl is saying is basically that chaos is going to be the greatest clarity that you'll ever have, even though you think you're getting actually thrown around like a hurricane in Houston.
Yeah, definitely, especially when we just had the 1111 portal. That's always a portal of great transformation, and it also puts a lot of attention and awareness on where your energy is focused. It's also a manifestation portal, and it's also and with Mercury retrograde and all and the consciousness and the frequency and consciousness shift that's going on the planet right now. I couldn't even talk either.
Oh my God.
It wanted
Don't
to come out
worry.
consciousness. I was like, wait, I'm saying consciousness wrong. Okay. But anyway, so it's going to bring attention to things that are out of alignment with your highest self, right? With your best self. So you this is and it can almost be like another dark night of the soul. I know we've talked about that. How
Yeah.
sometimes you have a big one at some point in your life. Like I had that before when I went through addiction and things like that. And then
Yeah.
sometimes you still keep going through because as you're evolving, you're shedding layers that no longer serve you. So it's like these things that don't resonate with your soul at a core level, or as you're evolving, you're kind of like outgrowing environments, outgrowing people, outgrowing habits, lifestyle, right? You're seeing something just isn't fitting. It's like I even like to use the word not hitting the same. Maybe even things that used to bring you joy, pleasure, and fulfillment aren't even doing that because you're like evolving. So it's like you keep raising the bar. And when you raise the bar, everything else that isn't like they can't come with you to that frequency or that shift you're trying to make kind of gets left behind, or you just feel like it's very off, right? You're like you feel like you don't belong, or they don't belong, or it's just like not a frequency match. And sometimes we're still trying to force things that clearly aren't working or clearly aren't meant for us. And because like it's your ego gets in the way kind of, but it's like your soul knows what you need to release or focus more on or do less of, right? So it's like you can feel very uncomfortable, but we always say that's where the growth happens, right? Outside your comfort zone. We talk about that. We talked
Absolutely.
about stabilizing your nervous system in previous episodes as well, which is why grounding during this time is so important. Self-care, and
Uh,
especially with the holidays, there's people that get holiday blues. There's people that financially are stressed out because they have these societal expectations, right? And then you have all the other agendas that are going on and corruption and other thing, all the
so
programming,
much
right?
crap.
Yeah, and all the programming, and then people just feel like pressured. It's like some of it is just like taking the pressure off yourself. Like you don't like sometimes we have to let go of what we think we need to be happy or fulfilled. It's like um we have this expectation that's like based on our programming, right? Our beliefs that have been bestowed upon us from schools, the media, or maybe parents. Um, Family,
Yep.
whoever the government. And it's like you have
Yeah,
to break all these.
exactly.
You have to ask yourself, do I really agree with this? Like, do I need to let this get to me? Like, does this have to be my story? Do I have to believe this? Like, do I really resonate with this? You can choose to let it go, but some people have an attachment to that, and it could be like based on your old identity, your old belief systems. It's like it can feel like a push and pull, and you're trying to move
Absolutely.
forward, and then these things are like pulling you down to the ground and you're trying to rise up, and it's like it's a very testing time, I think, for a lot of people. A lot of people are being tested, I think, on a variety of different levels, and especially with the Mercury retrograde, where people talk a lot about the delays with technology, the delays with travel, communication. But we've talked about this in previous episodes, where it's a time where you can reflect. It's more like feedback. Okay, this is what's holding me back. This is what's
Exactly right.
not in alignment. I mean, it brings attention to that. So then, and we always talk about awareness is key, the key to change, right? So if we're aware of what's holding me back or what's weighing me down, then I can maybe make a conscious choice to do something better so I can align more with like a better timeline.
Want to do a big shout out to our friends and supporters at Liberty Bullion. Sammy and the team are the best gold, silver, and platinum traders in Australia. Make good choices, give them a call. Back to the show. The big change was, and this is what Mercury retrograde tells you. One thing I learned is actually listen to what your messages are getting, make a conscious choice, and then make a move. Because it's the way you go. Well, instead of actually going and go, oh, I can't do this, and your ego gets involved, just do it. Is it going to hurt? If you make a conscious choice to say, look, I'm not going to go and say, if my brain says to me, I'm going to go and walk on a road, what am I going to do? I'm going to look left and right before I walk, right? So the same thing happened then. I was going to put this flag next to the Australian flag because that's the way it is. There's a reason why I have to do this. And I've I guess I've just cleaned up. I've done the big Texas tornado cleanup, and this is what retrograde's all about. And it makes it hard for someone who is actually doing something, looking and wants to do more and all those kind of things, but you've got to get yourself sorted. Here's something for you. This is my mantra. One of my mantras. Other than remove your mask, write your story. Other than hype, motivation, unstoppable energy equals undisputed purpose, or create an authentic, safe, trusted space. Here's something to ponder, ladies and gentlemen. 3 of the things you've got to be grateful for every single day. If you say these 3 things, everything else can be like secondary. And it sounds really bad it sounds really bad. Oh, yeah, whatever. I have this chat with people all the time and they go, once they think about it, these 3 words, they go, yeah, everything counts after these. Number 1, time. 2, peace. 3, breathing. You don't have those 3 things, no point to it.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Tell me about it. Tell me what comes to your mind when I say time, peace, breathing are the 3 most important things you can have in this life? Go. I'd like to take this time to shout out our supporters at Liberty Bullion, the best gold, silver, and platinum traders in Melbourne, even Australia. If you want to give them a call, their knowledge, their customer service is second to none. Back to the show.
Okay, I'm gonna say love. I'm gonna say, I guess breath. Breath is probably pretty important. Your prana, your breath.
There you're thinking now. Say
Yeah.
love is
Oh man,
important.
you got me. I know.
Say love is
If you
important,
asked
right?
me
But
before, yeah, now you made me think about it.
love is important. There's no problem about it. But love is the secondary, right? If you don't have peace in here, time is what we've got on this earth, right? Once 10 minutes is gone, it's gone, right? And breathing, you don't breathe, is the life. That's all I'll say. The blood's the life force. Air is life. There you go. Have a think about that. So I got you thinking, didn't I?
Yeah, made me think too much, maybe overthink, and then I froze. I was like, wait,
Nah, don't
wait, what's
overthink it.
supposed to
But
be important? I was like, wait, what is really?
what is the first thing? See, that's the first thing. So once you have these gratitude moments, it's not a problem about having those. But look, those kind of things come to me. And look, I've had some absolute, crazy. I think I've turned into the Hulk. I've just having these times. Even yesterday, I just had no energy. I just don't know what. Mentally, physically, spiritually, I was friggin' shot. Absolutely shot.
That's what I've been feeling, honestly. I've been taking a step back from a lot of things. I haven't been posting. I mean, I still go post my little memes, whatever, on Facebook or post things, but as far as creating content, I've stepped back a lot. And just, we go through seasons. Sometimes your soul might just need a rest. It might just need a break so you can, like, reflect on all this stuff. I have trouble sitting still and resting too. Trust me. That's the thing I struggle with a lot. And I'm learning to, like, just sit, like, we're doing a lot of work. And when you're going through these portals and all these events and just living in society in general, like, you need to take a step back, have some peace. You need that solitude, you need that alone time, you need the rest, you need time to do things that bring you joy and to tap into your authentic self. You have to. I just recorded a personal podcast recently on tapping back into yourself. And I felt very called to do it because it's so important. Like, how do you tap back into yourself? A lot of people are tapped into things outside of themselves, but it's like, what do I want? What do I need in this moment? What your body is telling you messages too. Sometimes your mind wants to go way far ahead, and your body's like, slow down, like, like, yeah, we'll get there, but it's like you're like exhausted or burnt
Well,
out.
two things in that way, I reckon it'll come is pretty much number one. Yes, you got to listen to your inner time clock. The worst bit being a bloody empath and feeling stuff. And here we go. Here's some freaky stuff, ladies and gentlemen. That you think either it's full of crap or you believe in part of it. But I'll tell you right now, most people believe in the spirit world, and they love talking about demons and all those kind of things. Gets them bloody excited. But I've always had a knack of knowing what's going to happen in the future, right? But what my thing was, because of my programming going, oh, I want that now, and living in the future of the feeling of the future and not walking the journey. You're changing your programming because you're going to miss out. You're being told you're a friggin' idiot. You're not going to happen, and get to a point that it's taken away from you because you're getting controlled by other people or by yourself because of your own programming. But I think the big thing is now just to say, okay, that will happen. Let's walk the journey. And it's a case of patience and understanding what that's all about. Things come into your life for a reason. Things come into you, things will be put in front of you. Synchronicities, when you actually start to actually have that inner voice and have that inner change within yourself, you do have that. And don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. You go, no, I'm not the next guru or any kind of that crap like that. What I'm saying is, mate, I have my choice. I have my times. Di has her times.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. We are still living in the old somewhat, but the change is we've got awareness of this shit, and that's what it is. And we go from there. What do you think? I've got a couple of other points I want to run past you with regards to that. Unless you
Yeah,
want to
sure.
go for it.
Yeah, you can bring it up. Yeah.
Rightio. I'm gonna tell you about. I'm gonna say a couple of things, right?
Okay.
So, and you and me are similar in with what's happened, with where we've got to in our point, and I'm sure Sarah and Cortez are the same, and all the people listening. What if I said to you that you lived a motherless and fatherless upbringing? Now, the first thing people are going to say is, "Yes, I had a mother. Yes, I had a father." Right? Okay, great. And we're going through the point of I've seen a lot of videos where people actually say you shouldn't blame your parents because they did the best they could. Agree. But here's the counter, the mirror, the counter. So we've got to accept what they did. No. What we do is we accept that they did that it wasn't the best for us. We're not expecting a sorry or anything, you're not going to get it. But we have to accept that this was wrong for our own personal growth. Now, motherless and fatherless, meaning spiritual and emotional. So,
Hmm.
did you have the foundations of what you were supposed to be or how you were supposed to be, or were you just basically those things that came up, like control, whether it be some type of abuse or whatever it may be, or how you turned out because that's the way they treated, and you walked out into adulthood with those lessons, or the way you've been basically put through the ringer for 12 years or 18 years, and you go into the real world and you go, oh, hang on a minute, I feel like an absolute clown because I've got no idea what I'm doing because you haven't had the teachers proper. But emotionally and spiritually, and I guess the foundation of what a mother and father are supposed to do, whether it be masculine, feminine energy, however you want to put it, was that lacking in your teaching of the person that you were and brought into the adulthood, and now you've realized it because you've come and said, "Stuff this. I'm changing. I'm changing those patterns." What do you reckon? If that's too complicated for people,
No,
apologize.
I mean, often I think a lot of people who embark, a lot of us empaths or people who embark on the healing journey, the spiritual journey, whatever it is, a lot of us I think are the generational curse breakers. So sometimes we're the ones, we might be black sheep, we might be the scapegoat, whatever. There's different family dynamics, but I think a lot of times we come on this earth to also break those karmic patterns and break the generational trauma. And sometimes breaking it is just being aware of it because a lot of times like you just said, sometimes the parents did the best they could. Well, sometimes they weren't taught a lot either. They didn't have much, so they're just passing on what they were taught, right? Because think about it, when we're a kid, we're absorbing everything like a sponge, right? So that's your first introduction to what marriage is, to what family is, to what parents are. For me, I also had a bad, I guess I said bad, a toxic situation with that as well. Some of might know some of my story, but so I had to take all that, and I could be a victim of it, and I could just easily repeat that and keep going and just be unaware and everything. But or I could choose to learn from it and let it empower me and say, hey, you know what? I suffered enough. Our bloodline suffered enough. I'm ready to make the changes and just being aware and making a conscious choice to do something slightly better, even if it's just something very small, can make a big difference. That's how we break patterns. Awareness and then repetition of the new conscious, more positive behavior, right? And for me, I also had to reprogram myself on what if a healthy family is, what a healthy marriage is, what a healthy relationship is. I had to rewire all that. I didn't have a good example here. I had a horrible example, and I was repeating a lot of those patterns for a while until I became more aware, and I had to go through a lot of suffering and pain. Right, the whole journey, the spiritual journey. I went through addictions, all that stuff, and then just to see that, like, wow, like if when you don't actually you aren't actually aware of that stuff and you keep repeating that, you can really put yourself in a hole, you know, like and not even be like aware of it. Some people it's just like a subconscious thing. You just are like drawn to doing certain behaviors, and sometimes we don't even know why we're doing it. You know, it's like it's just on repeat. Just it's maybe reacting. It's not communicating healthily. It could be arguing. It could be fighting. It could be avoiding. You know, there are different forms of it. So it's like, and we have to accept sometimes that that's all they could do. Like they weren't able to give us more. That they can't give us what they don't have. Maybe they didn't have much. You know, and that's they're doing maybe the best they could for them. Maybe it didn't seem like a lot, but maybe to them that's like that's all the awareness they have. That's the level of consciousness they're at. You see what I'm saying? So like us being aware of that, we see the dysfunction, we see that, and we're like, I don't want to repeat that. And you feel the pain as an empath. You feel probably your whole bloodline's pain, and you're carrying it, and it's not yours. So it's like you have to make the conscious choice. You have to bring the darkness to light, right? Shine light on everything, right? Awareness, light is awareness. So you're aware of it. You see, hey, clearly this led to this. This is like not working. But sometimes we do become like addicted to the chaos too. And if you grew up in a chaotic environment, sometimes you can seek that out in your external or your relationships, your friendships. You know, I've had to work on that as well. But you just keep taking a step every day and just keep working at it. And it's acceptance, kind of forgiving and giving yourself what your parents weren't able to give you. Okay, I can't change that my emotional needs were not met by my dad when I was growing up, right? I can't change that. But, and there's nothing I can do. I can't change all the mistakes, all the emotionally unavailable guys that I was with most of my life, right? Similar to that dynamic. I can't change that the way my parents like communicated, you know, the way that, you know, the way what happened with my mom even, you know, how she ended up like I just have to accept and just learn from the experience and just try not to repeat that and um yeah, make a different choice.
I guess as a way, I guess in a way, it's very hard to look back on. Yeah, we talk about inner child stuff and bloody life coaching and all this shit that's
We
come up.
like
All these,
repairing ourselves kind of. It is like
yeah, we
replanting
are.
yourself.
Yeah,
I repair
and
myself all the time. I'm like, hey, gentle, like, hey, it's okay, but I don't talk like that. I find myself talking to myself like my dad did, very harsh, you know, stuff like that. But it's like, so I'm learning to be more gentle. Oh, it's okay.
well,
Like, would you talk to your friend like that? If your friend came to you like that, you know, often you wouldn't even say it to a friend, right? But we're like hard on ourselves, you know?
I think the case of the matter is, and Jackie Elliott, the lady I interviewed from Oregon, now she's I think episode 112, I think, is it 112, something like that. Oh, hang on, 100, whatever it may be. Just go type in Jackie Elliott, a chat with Jay, and she talked about abusive brain chatter. So it's something that you've been, um, we'll say, gifted to get rid of, whether it be generational or whatever it may be. But it comes down to the whole psyche of what we're going through. And this is what I'm saying to you. See, the first 7 years, and then they've molded your subconscious, and then you've
Yeah.
gone in and then consciously, subconscious will protect you. You're the kind of person that what it is, you have to stand up to whatever it may be, and you work out how it goes. But you have to actually say, and then people won't accept it a lot of the times, or they use it as a bloody excuse. And a lot of this is where this bloody victim mode comes in, all this victim shit comes in. And I know because I did it. So, and I still catch myself doing it. And I think the case of the matter is, and I'm not sure how you're feeling, when you feel like you're in this city you're not supposed to be in, and you're dying to get on a plane to get the hell out and start a new life, I think that we all have to actually sit in our crap
Shadow.
and
You gotta do that shadow work. You have to
all
bring
the
you
demon, all
wherever
the
you go.
demon.
I don't care if you move away. I don't care if you're in a different relationship. I don't care if you're in a different country, different job. You still have you with you cannot escape yourself. That's why it's about going with it.
Well, Carl Jung said about, and I think Carl Jung and Jordan Peterson. I watch a lot of them too.
Yeah.
Obviously, and Candace Owens and a few other I call them gurus or people that I like. And Napoleon Hill's another one. But I look at them, and they say about embracing the dark side into you. Now, I've always had the joke around. I know, I've got the dark side in me, but we have to use the dark side to embrace the light. Now, that concept came to me a long time ago. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I knew deep down I didn't know how to control it. Now, understanding it, controlling it, and using it to say black dog feeding white dog, however you want to put it, or white wolf, or whatever you want to put it, needs to happen because they're the one. Those fears. If you look at the mirror, okay, you look at the mirror and you look into your soul, as in the Crimson Idol, Blackie Lawless used to say when he did his great rock opera about the Crimson Idol. He said, "Look into your soul, look into your eyes, and you'll know, and your soul will tell you exactly what the answer is, and the answer is in the mirror. So you're living one life, the mirror's the other life. If you look at it analogy wise, there's a lot of if you actually step away and actually take these concepts, you can't go wrong because a lot of people don't understand or don't want to do it or can't do it, or they find an excuse not to do it, or they physically can't. So they have to take the best option. And then that was me. And it still is in some ways.